Hello, and welcome back. Now, if you've been following along with the channel relatively for any length of time, really, you might have realised that I have previously done a Ghibli film. And considering that another milestone has been reached, this time slightly higher with 2,500, as well, hopefully by the time that this comes out, it would have actually passed. I think it's time to do another. Now, of course, there are many films which a lot of you have been advocating for. And if I'm honest, quite a few of them have piqued my interest, but unfortunately, some of the Ghibli films got their hooks into me first, so let's see if this is a classic with Princess Mononoke. Starting with the ominous music already, are we? I'm glad for the translation because, yeah, 10% of that I understood without it. Also, a reason why I would really just wanted to watch more of the old Ghibli things was because of the craft that went into all of it. I don't want to say old, but old animation. Were they like worms or leeches or something that just ate away at the ground? Linces. But like the watercoloured backgrounds and everything. We can tell kind of what period this is meant to be taking place in, but the fact he's riding I'm not sure what kind of creature to class that as. Well, I'll not get it wrong at least. What do your elf eyes see? I know he's not an elf, but it's a quite get over it. That is something that I've always pondered about in movies, where the character sees something, but it doesn't become clear to the audience that there's anything there until like 10 seconds later. So, well, just the change in the lighting there. He is eating away at the life of everything. Ah, it's the Great Worm God. Well, he's got 8 legs. A giant wild boar covered in oozy maggot slime. This is going to be gross, isn't it? Run, little dear thing! Starting off strong with the danger to all life, essentially. And this thing isn't like any creature, it seems to have some sort of intelligence. this curse doesn't seem to affect the places where he's gone through. Like, you can walk in its path, but is it the boar itself which is the demon, or the slug things? Can you ration with it? Reason with it? Imagine how long it would have taken to hand draw all of the wormy things. The classic fall over and can't get up. And is he cursed now? Is that going to be something that he has to fend with? The battle between man and nature, or gods at this point. Since he was trying to talk to it before, rub the dirt into it, try and disinfect it, or whatever it does. But they seem to worship that big boar thing. So did it itself get corrupted in some way, and by what? Show your respects. Just, oh, unknown. Just don't come back alive and eat the woman. I mean, they were trying to be gracious about it, and that's creepy and kind of well done. Are you just playing? Oh, you're not playing a board game or something. You're divining the future or something, aren't you? Is this going to be a story of trying to stop the origin point of all of this? And yes, please forgive some of the subtitles, but this is all that I had. If he, if they amputate his arm, would it spread to him dying? What is it? and in a way save himself and the village, and potentially all the creatures. Is it also going to be returning previous glory of the kin and whatnot as well? Removal of his top knot. I'm sure that's significant in some way. I just don't know what. The beginning of a journey. As kind of fantasy style RPGs go, this wouldn't be a bad start. Well, that's going to be relevant later on. As he begins his journey to distant lands. And that music cut in. Now, like most things, I don't know much about this film, other than some of its main characters. So it'd be nice to see how it all intertwines. Make that thing carry some of the load. Is that smoke or dark energy? There seems to be a battle ensuing. Well, yeah. So they're attacking indiscriminately. That is some arrow. But yeah, what did that? Is it every time that he raises his hand in some sort of violence, it's going to eat away at him? I want whatever arrows he has. I do need my arrows reflighted, so I might make some inquiries. Well, the Oracle did say it was going to eat away at him, didn't she? Well, it's gruel. It's not going to be the greatest of meals. Does she have any use of pure gold? At least this guy seems to know the equivalent exchange of value of things. Since he seemed to have that gold and changed it for a single bag of rice, of course he would catch up. Are you being followed? What shoes is he wearing? Yeah, tough luck, bandits. Better luck next time. Are we getting the kind of old master type figure already? He's even shorter than he looks. Is that some like miso paste or something? Should he have gotten involved since he doesn't know what side's what? But they did attack him, so I mean, he's meant to be elk, is it? Getting some really with your yeah. Don't drop it in the food though. I do like how old style animations were. Didn't give a shit about having all of the characters like really above average and good looking. They're more relatable when they're realistic. You know, other than the leads, but let's forget about that. For some reason, I'm getting Shadow of the Colossus and Ico vibes. Flash floods. The river itself is gonna break and overflow. Literal or well, they're kind of advanced, aren't they? Having black powder weaponry. Are we going to finish this section with one less wolf to get that emotional impact? Just running past him as yep, push him off the cliff. Yeah, that's gonna do some damage. Do they call any magnificent beast a god in this? I guess that is kind of how thinking used to be back hundreds of years ago. I was about to say it's a hat, but it's a lot more debris than just a hat. Even little elements of this, like him putting the bow around his neck to carry it. Little details that actually add up. How does that help? It was a lead shot or something, wasn't it? The boar spoke. Do these speak? Sure, take a cow. Or ox. Hello? I mean, I've seen various, like, forest spirits and whatnot throughout games, but so it shows the differences in them. He's terrified, whereas this guy lives in kind of peace with them. And acknowledges that it's just like spirits of the forest. I was going to say, what about the other guy? He's being carried. He did look a little paler than the other. Yeah, I would definitely trust little forest hallucinations. How do you know? You're not sure what they're what their goal is. Is there a passage there, or is it they just entering a tree? A great swamp. One thing that should be easy to draw, but I never actually spent enough time to make it look good, is trees. Footprints in the moss. What are they gathering around? A different type of footprint. Which god are we going to find now? This might help if I actually read up on old folklores and beliefs of the past. Deer? Did That's impressive antlers you've got there. That's got to feel horrid if it's below the skin, trying to push its way out. So did his arm react in the presence of that thing? Or did that thing cause it? He doesn't know the situation or the background, but he's going to help anyway. Wonder how many people would do the same. You rejoiced too early, my friend. So, quite a nice juxtaposition between the tranquility and peace of the forest and the life there to the industrialization of the ironworks. Good thing that he apparently is kind of well known. I guess, yeah, if someone gets thrown over the edge of a ravine, you would be left for dead. The one that helped him. And he's going to be treated poorly because he's an outsider. Yeah, he wasn't burdened with the amount of people that you have. How are you going to yell at him for that, though? Emasculated by his wife. I kind of want this ox driver guy to return and be something, but your husband's just over there. She's taking responsibility for what, the wolf attack? An interesting. Why they didn't repeat in the animation on that guy. An interesting little bit of world building here of this fort, which got its own peoples and economy. Of course, they can't help but gossip. I Is he on a fact-finding mission though? Learning how to make iron and that. Mm. Well, that's fairly. My estimations of that woman with the gunpowder has gone up. But is there a reason for hiring all of the women from poorer and worse off backgrounds? Completely altruistic? So he shakes off arrows like that, but the other one took one to the face and was down. Hang on. Was that a flashback or is that current events? Okay. Dragonfire. He doesn't seem happy. It was forced from its land. Judging the purity of the iron. It's one of the shots from the guns. Yeah, don't give away too information. We don't know their complete motivation. Coming in and seeing a culture that he's not used to. In progress there has to be some offset and sacrifice. Is that what this story is kind of revolving around? How many hours a day do they work the bellows? That's some honor, I guess. So you're manufacturers of the rifles. I mean, I get that he has his reasoning and that his village and whatnot didn't. Losing control of your own body there. That's interesting. Is he injured or dying or? This is the question though. She treats other humans kindly. What are they suffering from? But doesn't, yeah, she treats other humans kindly, at least those that she can control, but doesn't care for the world or the old gods. If you've got things like that rocking around, then yeah, no wonder you want guns. What did you do to deserve it? So you're out to kill the deer god. That's her motivation there. Is there an alternate way to get a cure for this curse? Help out on the bellows? They didn't have to care about their. Don't offset the rhythm. The thing is, did they have the pacing a way to keep an even temperature for the iron? Is he now buggering it all up? You've got to admire him. He's actually actively trying to understand the various sides of things before drawing conclusions. Not many people do that anymore. They latch onto an idea that they think feels right and disregard everyone else. Big fluff. Hopefully, there's not going to start an attack while he's there visiting. Surely you've got to have a better plan than just the same thing. Attack. Impressive. Attack with 2 wolves and your own skill. I do enjoy old style roof running and whatnot, especially on old buildings. Something aesthetically pleasing about it. The women fighting as well. Fair enough. Give them weapons to protect themselves. I wonder how good the sharpshooters are. Still wondering what the plan is here. Or is strategy not a strong point? He just doesn't want unnecessary bloodshed. Shrapnel. I think the rolling there was deliberate. You're destroying the rafters and everything here. It's good that she was wearing that mask. She has a task to do, and I wonder if she even... Well, yeah, no, she did speak, didn't she? She said leave before. Are they going to interfere in her fight here? Is he becoming one with the worms? I don't think that sword was made very well. Yep. Make way, stand aside. And he is there to what? Help all sides? Bring peace to the lands? Well, now they're both coming with him. Can she pull that trigger? That's why you don't jolt someone when they've got a gun. How is he still walking so nonchalantly there? That's got to damage some internal organs. Then he'll open it himself. Yeah, he's the protagonist. I mean, you've got to be impressed. But is it his own skill that's doing that, or is it the hatred of the curse giving him the strength? And all because one of his men wouldn't give him a flint there. When she wakes up, she's just going to attack him again. Especially how terrified she looked of the curse from his arm. Unless he's... First sign of weakness, of course. But... yes. Do you really think that would make them leave, though? Everyone's so quick to anger. You speak quite well, though. Why did that affect you so much if you don't care for the words of humans? Why are all the animals such deep voiced, gravelly? To gain his power. Oh, I was actually correct. So their goals are practically the same, just showing all the different tribes and their different ethics and how they want to go about the world. You insult her by calling her human. You know, he has just been lying there for a while, bleeding out still. No, leave the elk. Of course, is going to be cautious about this entire thing. What are the extents of her first aid? People were quite hardy back then, being able to be shot, having their arms taken off. Well, maybe that guy didn't survive his head, but oh, they're sad about losing the twig with the herbs. But what happens when animals just walk around and like eat the leaves and stuff? Do they get pissed then? That's another thing in animation. You can tell what's going to move and what isn't based on how it's drawn and how obvious its line work and whatnot is. And usually the shading is a lot simpler. Is it going to stay? Yeah, show's over. We can go home now. So many Tic Tacs. But what's with this island? Why didn't it want to go? Why does just leaving him there apparently equate to uh, healing him and helping him out? Is this the dear God? You've both got the same kind of headpiece. Did those spirits originate from cicadas by any chance? It's the old guy. Is he a merchant? And their superstitions are still quite high. Okay. So based on the time of day, his form changes, but does that give him strange properties? I know he's meant to be some sort of god. Good mount. Does that deer god bring life and death? Because when he steps away from an area, everything is dead. I don't think I liked his face. Even if it was a mask, but a human head on the rest of its body. You've created a blind, have you? The boar. Is there a new big one since the original has died? There's no mistaking from those tusks, but the tusks don't look any different from what you'd expect. Oh, maybe because he's got 4 instead of 2. I thought it would be like those ones who the tusks continuously grow. I think the silence here is actually quite powerful. It's not very often you get moments like that in films in recent years. At least not that I've seen. Yeah, but what about his face? Selective healing. That was the fatal wound, so yeah, you heal it, but it's spreading. Are you going to return the reins now that he has stayed, even though... Clever elk. The fact that it's continuously misplacing letters. So that said bat instead of eat. I don't know why it's B's and E's and R's and P's that... Oh, you're doing the mother bird tactic now. Yes, regurgitate. Lovely. I guess if he doesn't have the strength to do it himself, what are you expected to do? Are you going to give him back his weapon? To what end was he crying there? Was it her, the environment, everything that he's learned so far, the deer god itself? Are they annoyed that he might have been behind the shooting of the big one? All of the animals are certainly annoyed with humans. Yes, and doesn't that hold a significance? So I was right, it controls life and death. So he's going to turn into one of those worm monsters as well at some point. Unless you can get in there and retrieve the bullet. His curse as proof. The Elder, once again. You have some wise words. Blind? We didn't have the beginning which kind of emphasized how his village and whatnot kind of coincided with the land, and lives with it. But we can tell. Especially not if you charge them head first. This is going to end in several ways. Either all the forest kin will join and there'll be an epic battle against the humans. I very much doubt that you're going to be able to change the mind of industrialization. So yeah, probably going to have to end with the figureheads. Jesus, dear. That deer has plans for him yet. Of course, they wage war on each other. You've got to admit, she is a crack shot. On whose side is he? How many factions are fighting? So is he some sort of advisor? The thing is, I don't think we as a species would have reached where we are now if it wasn't for the constant fighting that we've done, because it pressed for constant evolution in our technology and what we could do. One of the advantages of war, our science grows rapidly in those times. Fair? But are these words coming from the woman in charge, or just what they think? They didn't even take it. What a waste. They've been shown a life where they don't have to stay in the brothels and whatnot. Of course, they'd now have some courage. And when the iron runs out, what then? You move on to the next place? I thought the blood healed curses. Now the head apparently grants immortality as well. She's a sharp one. Yes, and caused a bit of a nuisance. Well, they have to live in the bearskins, so their own scent is overshadowed. To protect the fort. And it seems as though this story once again boils down to human hubris and the Emperor wanting more. For such a, I don't actually know when this came out, old film to be still kind of reminiscent now with the disparity in genders and roles. But it was a lot more evident back then than it is now. We've got it pretty good. Also, why is she raised by wolves? I'm also glad with the attention to detail with keeping the tatters in his clothing and whatnot. It seems a bit cleaner than last time we saw it, but they're not very nice to him, are they? But then again, he is human. That is ideal, but the thing is, life isn't so nice that can happen. Everyone has their idealistic view of the world, which is why politics is a cesspool. The thing is, what is realistically achievable? Huh. So that's why. To protect themselves, they forfeited their daughter. he will try to break through and create some armistice and truce. Oh, that was a short talk. Wow, the leaves all died already? Or is it just the lighting? Who repaired his top? Doesn't look like he is fully healed. Muscle atrophy would do that to you. Hmm. I can see where this is going to go. The humans are going to assault the deer god themselves. And he's got to somehow interrupt it. But the jeweled dagger? Good throw, good catch. Wasn't that meant to be a bit of memorabilia to remember his whatever she was to him from his village? Actively using tactics to your advantage. Sounds pretty human. We know we are weak. Do you think they'd listen? And their hatred runs deep. And they've got war paint. Throughout history, we have needed many trees, but we do, some of us at least, repay that when it's cut down and replant, but Was that high-pitched whistle that was in the music now leading up to this? Because it was anticipating something. It's strange how all the different creatures seem to be able to understand each other when even between humans is pretty difficult. It's far more likely that the boars would understand boars and the wolves would understand wolves, but there wouldn't be much conversation between the two. Their languages are just far too different. Would be much of a movie then. If you had to have wolf and boar translators and interpreters. After the obnoxious sounds of before, the silence of the rain here was nice. I was about to say. What? What's wrong with the ironworks? Are they under attack by people? Nice jump. Do they have... Yes, bows. Impressive. Whose army is this? I know we've heard from the Emperor and whatnot, but when they're working for him, so... Oh, the fort's raided. Keeping them at bay. Yay! Because he's still healing. He couldn't go with the rest of them. Like other ways and hot tar and whatnot. That's a pretty bad way to go. Bit close there, right? What kind of arrow is that? An alert rather than trying to hit him. Old style warfare and whatnot is fun when you actually get into it and learn all the different tactics that they try to employ. Too late? What is... Not Yaku. Is he going to fire it back at them? It does seem that whenever he's fighting, the curse grows. He needs to draw the power. And able to employ some really inhuman feats. Yeah, I think you got the message there. He's like, fuck that! No. He's not listening. Far too late. Yeah, basically a one-sided slaughter. Okay, there was losses on both sides. Are we going to find our short guy here who helps? Splitting the forces even more. I don't think they are going to listen to me. They're going to revolt against the guards. Oh, it's like... It's kind of like Merry and Pippin in Lord of the Rings. It's like, were they killed alongside? How do you know when you burned the bodies? How much firepower would it take to launch a wild boar that high? Sacrificing your own men there, but what else were you supposed to do? Killing the boar means it will fall and land on your own soldiers, but not killing them means they'll get to the top. Oi, shut up. They are definitely going to revolt on the guards. Didn't take long. When they've got their people back home that they don't want to lose, he seems to be giving away his bow and arrow quite often, doesn't he? So is the other wolf still alive? Does Sun know that that one was trapped? So they, what, will think he's one of their own, so won't pay too much attention? That is a lot of damage. How early on did the other wolf fall, as it were? So instead of, helping out, they'll just infight. The gods themselves, the curse. The rat army has arrived! That's the skin of the boars. So easily fooled. They did say the boars weren't that smart. Gave him the courage and power to keep going, though. How quickly did they skin him? They do say they were proud. Don't think you'd, pay much attention. Much like humans. Yeah, they're not interested in the wolf. Why would they get that close? Wouldn't they want to keep their distance? Are they stabbing it? He's turning. Why are they actively trying to force this? Do they gain anything by turning it into a demon? Is she going to be hurt by the worm things, considering her proximity? Oh, great, she's being engulfed. Being given the go ahead to ride the wolf. You know, he's been kind of accepted then. Well, you were just aimed at your own guys there. They are fully willing to shoot their own. Well, protect your ironworks and then. He's on everyone gets to live side. So what is she now? Blinded by ambition? Well, we already knew the advisor guy was out for his own interests. Are you dead? And it's kind of a trope at this point where the voice of someone raises them from unconsciousness. At least they're... Oh. Was he struck then? But wary enough to kind of evade the worms. I wonder if things would have turned out differently if the old boar wasn't blind. Yeah, it looks like you're going to have to intervene. And you've just killed your friend. Gross. I don't think this is going to end well. Considering how the curse is when hatred overtakes and try to take down a god. So the brief moment of respite due to the deer god appearing. Sinking. I mean, yeah, they've got bigger problems at the minute to deal with. Gross. It's going to be one hell of a dry cleaning bill. And what? Takes away life? It was a god of life and death. Yeah, it's about to transform. Remember, Nightick went into that weird, yeah, celestial form. Why would you risk it against a literal god of death? But still. Ambition. You're going to screw yourself. How nature tries to reclaim just then. As like a big ball of the... Yeah, great. Let's throw globules of that curse all over the place. Oh, we didn't really get to see much, but I'm guessing they're dead. Since it's extracting life. Oh no, not all the spirits. They were showing the health of the forest. Was that the last bit of energy that the wolf had? That the wolf had? Or was it by the will of the god? And what appeared to the deer embodied both life and death in an equilibrium. Yeah, it looks like you either go in there and hope for the best, or you drown. Well, not drown. You go in and drown, or you stay and just die. Well, that one might be the better of the two, actually. But now the god itself is just a... helping the enemy, that's not going to look good, but he is... he is staying true to his character of being, like, the ambassador for humans in the forest can get along. Well... Ow. He did. Through various ways. Yeah, is there a point where you can turn back now? There is no life anymore, only death. Wow, the tendrils are seeking out everything that can. Yeah, that didn't help. It's trying to reclaim its head, isn't it? Will it be able to revert back into a deer god and stop the chaos? If they just offer it back? Because I know a lot of old shrines and whatnot is just, trying to appease the gods. And yeah, sorry we screwed up again. Yeah, you did well. Keep up with that optimism. Yeah, your battle with the samurai can be a little overshadowed if a force which doesn't, well, it's indiscriminate with its taking. Why is it so much faster now than when they were running away in the forest? Yeah, but are they going to actually do anything? Yeah, you might want to leave now. Well, we've seen how she can take charge of a situation before, so yeah, why isn't she a de facto leader? Of course, some of the nameless masses are going to be sacrificed. And the ironworks burns down. Yeah, you can always rebuild. Not that, doing it the first time really did much good. At this point, is it really worth it? Just let him have the head. Oh, so you've just got to wait until dawn. Hmm. Because he is willing. I don't think the two of them can carry it by themselves. Well, not greatly, anyway. They're gonna get gooped, aren't they? You got to admit, he took that like a champ. Is he going to make it? Just push him into the slime. And let the head out. Trying to absolve everything that has happened, and well, humanity kind of needs that right now. And the life section of the life and death is restored. But quite a few of them were lost, to the boars. So were they running from death slime for like 8 hours or more? It's erasing the cause of some issues here, taking down the ironworks. Well, not that it needed taking down, it was already, I think, past saving with the forge. Is the dear god dead now? Or will life return? Slowly, but not so slowly. What once was taken shall be restored. Why is this just so pleasing to see plants grow? Were they some of the cursed ones, and they've been cleansed? Wait, wake up. Definitely looks a lot different than what it was a few minutes ago. The important thing now is, can they learn from the mistakes of the past? If we ignore history, we are doomed to repeat it. A message that some people are taking, well, they're not even heeding at all nowadays. So we'll have the scars, but not the curse itself. I guess that's a trade-off. Sure, he still needs to fix things with people here, but once that's done, sure, he can move and live in the forest. Oh, it only took the death of many of your own people and the loss of your arm, total defeat, for you to see that. They're returning. So many spelling mistakes. I think this is a story which, we can. I think it's relatively timeless because there's only so much you can take from the environment before it pays you have to pay a toll. It would be nice if there was this equilibrium of give and take and what we can do. But then again, that is an idealism which is pretty damn hard to sustain because people. It was also nice to. It was nice to see like the origins of religious stories and why civilizations like that would deify elements like with this dear god who symbolizes the life and death, and not might not be completely literal. That's what it did, but the stories were passed down and grew, and that's how gods and whatnot are created. It is nice. I've said that several times now to see these kind of things, but also the story of humans learning their lessons after the fact and, oh, shit. Well, I guess now we can try something else. As a species, we're quite egotistical, aren't we? Where do I place this next to Howl's Moving Castle? I think I preferred Howl's, but that because it just had more of a story and a message, where this is more about humanity itself and the other one was a story in of itself. Was this is well a warning, but as to be expected with Studio Ghibli, the films are damn right just beautiful. I think we have lost that in present day with a lot of our animations not being CGI rendered AAA kind of spectacles like all the Avengers more. They're good, but You do miss the old style hand drawn. Even the old Disney films were quite good. Why did I say even? You've got to respect the craft. Miyazaki. Alrighty. Finished. And with that we draw to a close. Another film, another fable, another day, another Ghibli. I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you haven't seen it before, well, you have now. And maybe you've taken on board some of the message. I don't think any of us are quite in the logging industry and making all the plans and things where we can actually make that much of a difference, but as much as I would like to say, you know, we respect nature, we need to give back and all this, advancements can't be made if we cling to it like that. It would be really nice though, wouldn't it? And the ending where it didn't seem as torn, like, oh, we have to separate because we're too separate, our cultures are completely different, could have had more of an emphasis, but it was good nonetheless, wasn't it? If you would like to see more movies, you better make sure to let me know down in the comments, because, well, if I don't get told, I might lose heart. I don't know what else to really say, other than my head is starting to hurt, and now I'm quite regretting that I didn't rest for as long as I could have before recording this, because I think I needed to be a bit more awake. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but the old boar losing his sanity and giving in to the hatred, when you become so focused on your problems and then you might lose track of what might matter, and you won't reach out. Is that what was meant there, or am I reading far too much into it? But I know for a fact I'm not articulating my points very well anymore, so I'm definitely gonna need a rest. Hopefully you will take one too, so I can see you in the next one. I must really thank each and every one of you for watching along, especially my Patreons. Special thanks to Flordotaku and Raywin for showing just how amazing they truly are. If you wish to join them, then use the links in the description. But for now, my friends, once again, thank you.